Welcome to Google for Real Estate. We're here live on Clubhouse every Wednesday, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Derek, born and raised in South Central Pennsylvania, Central PA as we call it, commercial and residential real estate agent since 2006, outdoor adventure sportsman, and Google marketing geek. In this room, we talk about how to dominate Google local search and get business from our Google business profiles, as well as discuss other Google tools and other Google ads and things, which we will be talking about today. Replays are on and recordings are available on Clubhouse for 7 days ish, and then I delete them. After that, they are available via the link in the Clubhouse chat or via my website. You can go on there and find the replays under the Google Business Profile tab, I believe is where it is. If you're here live, please come up on stage. No participation is required, but keep us company. And if you do have something, you're encouraged to interject, ask a question. Obviously, I always have the Ask Me Anything for any issues or anything. So interject, ask questions. If you have an experience with something, throw that at us too. That's how I also learn things, because things change. I haven't seen everything under the sun that can happen. So when that's kind of how I learn. One client, I see it in one client's account or something happened, and then or somebody tells me something, and then I know for other people. So we need everybody to share, not just the experts. If something weird or something has happened, or you just have an experience with what I'm talking about, share it with the group. That's always valuable. And if you or someone else is in a different profession from real estate, we usually talk about real estate here, but this all really applies for any local business. So you could apply it, and it translates to pretty much any kind of local business. Replays, all the links and stuff are in the chat here on Clubhouse. Like I said, if you're watching or listening somewhere else, you pretty much just go to my website till I have time to fill out those descriptions better. I just put this onto my Search Bomb YouTube channel as a podcast, so I had to put my RSS feed on there, and then it pretty much downloads everything just from Spotify. So today will be the first time that I'm seeing if the new one I add will automatically go over there. But it goes over there as like private, and then I have to make it public. Some of them got copyright stopped, not too many of them out of 40, maybe like five. So I got to figure out which ones or why that is and make sure that doesn't happen anymore. Possibly remove those. I don't know what. I'm going to have to ask someone that knows YouTube better than me if I should leave something like that on there, if it has a copyright thing on it, or if it doesn't matter or what. So anyway, all that to say, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can listen to it there as a podcast, and there's no videos for now, but maybe someday I will do this via video at the same time. Today we're talking about, really got one piece of news, which kind of what I've been talking about for a couple months now, but I heard somebody say it, so this is the first time I heard it, but we'll get to that. One piece of news, a little bit of Ask Me Anything if anybody's having any issues or questions about anything. And then, oh, I didn't mention that you can, if you want, we used to put our review request links in the chat here on Clubhouse and then exchange reviews. I am now saying, and you could do that too if you want to, but I'm now saying I'm putting just just my general Google Business Profile link, a link to my Google Business Profile in general, not the reviews, not the review request link. And I was thinking we would switch a little bit from giving reviews to now interacting with profiles, because that's good brownie points too. So just go to the profile, read a couple reviews, click on them, heart them. Sometimes you can give a fire or a praying hands or some. I think there's 5 different emojis there. Exploding brain maybe is one of them. Maybe not. Mind blown is what it's called probably. But just generally interact with it. Click on a couple photos, like them. Click on a couple products. Click through to the website. Just generally send the signal to Google that this is a good profile that consumers like. So Google will want to send other people to profiles that people click on and interact with a lot. So if you want to put your link in the chat there, go ahead and do that. Or if you want to just pay it forward to somebody you like, find their profile and click on a bunch of stuff. Also a good thing to do before you leave a review, because then it's a good signal to Google that you know this business, you've interacted with this business before. So if you leave the review after doing all that, sometimes that can help the review to show up also. So I think that's
Hey,
all I got. And then I
hey,
have a couple of topics to talk about. What's up?
hey, Derek. Good morning.
Oh,
Good morning. I just wanted to announce to you and to the room when I was moaning and bitching when you first set me up in Google a couple years ago that my reviews were not getting published. I had a real hard time, everybody, a lot of people were screenshotting, sending me, and it wasn't, nothing was happening. It was so frustrating. But somehow, knock on wood, every review that is being sent my way is getting published. So just to share for the room, the things I do tell the people, I make sure to say, and I learned that from you, Derek, say my name and say our neighborhood, say Brooklyn and say Margola. And thank God they're all being published. So I hope that helps somebody in the room and in the audience.
Awesome. It works if you work it. Sometimes you're in the doghouse for some reason, or like maybe you've never gotten to, you just built your profile's brand new, and I don't think Margola was the case there, but sometimes you are maybe quote unquote in the doghouse, and that is a thing. I hate the word like blacklisted or things like that, but it is kind of a thing. If Google doesn't like your Gmail address, or you have a bad history, or you just haven't been in there and don't do anything, then that can kind of possibly get more reviews blocked than other people maybe that are super in there, super vetted, super on top of everything. So it's good you stuck with it. It's good they're sticking now for whatever reason, and getting keywords in there. That's good for conversion as well, because obviously when people read profiles, it's great to see I'm looking to sell a house in Brooklyn, and they want to see reviews of people talking about selling houses in Brooklyn. Oh, this is the person to call. So yeah, that's great. Was someone else, Cindy? Were you going
Yeah.
to say something?
Yeah. Good morning, Derek. Good morning, everyone. Cindy in Salt Lake. Hey, I am in the doghouse, in my own doghouse, put myself in the doghouse because I have yet to write a review for you. So I'd like to do that now, today, Derek, and I do apologize. Would you kindly put your link into the chat so it will be easily accessible, the one that you want? I know you have a few things rolling. You've got, yeah. So thank you. Back to you, Chief.
Awesome. I'll take that interruption anytime. I want to give you a review. Give me the link. That's worth. I still haven't. I always say I need to calculate it. It's kind of impossible to calculate at this point, but calculate how much money has come from the Google Business Profile and then divide it by the reviews. It's kind of like when you attribute sales to YouTube channels. Every video I make is worth this much money. Kind of similar. I will put my review request link and a reminder that this is my real estate profile. So talk about me being good at real estate, not good at marketing. I will happily take one on both profiles, but I would prefer it on my real estate one. Seeing as how I did not reach my triple digits goal for 2024. I think I'm still sitting at 91. So I need 9 more. I really want to hit that over the next month. Or yeah, next 30 days would be nice. But anyway, yes, happily we'll take any.
Okay, well, we have 15 people in the room, well, minus Derek. Okay, so there's 14 of us.
Thank you,
So,
Cindy. Thank you, Cindy. I'm going to do it as soon as I get out of my running. I'm still running. That was an excellent, excellent point. And every one of us Derek deserves a raving review from everybody in this room and everyone in Clubhouse. Look how graciously he's always been giving and giving and giving. Thank you. Thank you. I will do it too.
Sweet. All right, I'll just close it out. I got what I needed out of it. No. All right. Yes, thank you. I will take graciously. And I will also try to return. I was just Monique's not in here. She gave me a review a long time ago. Sometimes I'm late and it takes me a while to get to it, but I do try to reciprocate if possible. So yes, reviews always appreciated. And I guess we're in the ask me anything. Any issues or anything? Questions about anything? All right, cool. So, news. Google search. I heard this on a podcast. Well, not a podcast, it's like a daily thing I listen to a couple days ago, and it's probably it's not old news, but by the time I hear it, people talking to the things I listen to, it's probably a couple days or a day old. If you actually read print things, which I don't do, I usually wait for the automated or the person telling me what happened. But anyway, Google search has dropped a couple of percentage points. They were like 91 point something market share for search. So 90 plus percent of every search done online was done from Google. They have dropped under 90% to the person said 89.99999999999, but still pretty big news. 2% is not a lot, but when you talk about the stronghold they have and they've never lost anything really, and now it has gone under 90, so that's newsworthy. It's gone under 90%. So that's big news. Just again, though, all it's saying to us, I mean, first it's saying Google still dominates. It's still 80, it's still 90%. They still get all the searches, all the reviews that I've heard, all the studies that I've heard people reference say that although ChatGPT, some people are using it, a lot of that's anecdotal, and in the studies, a lot of people that do the ChatGPT thing still go to Google to double check it for local search. Google is a billion million. It's not even close. ChatGPT is terrible for local search. So for local stuff, for sure, it's not taking any market share at this point. But again, little movements could turn into big movements, especially if Google gets split up like it's supposed to be, selling Chrome, which they have like 60 plus market share for browsers with Chrome. And they track everything on Chrome, and Chrome's a big deal. They might have to sell that. They will have to not be the default search on all the devices and on Apple devices. And anybody that has Apple, if you have a new phone or the new operating system, I believe, I don't have it, but it's, if you ask Siri, it uses ChatGPT, or it asks you if you want the ChatGPT answer, I think maybe. So it's infiltrating. Other things are infiltrating. All to say, again, same thing I've been talking about for the last month or so, is diversify yourself. Although Google is still where a majority of the people go, especially for local, like I said, Google's the place to be. But we also want to show up in those other places. And if they catch fire, we want to be there and be there before the other people and be the early adopters. And it's not too hard to be at all the other places. So the main places, which you've heard me say before, Apple Business Connect, Bing Places, and your Facebook business page. Apple Business Connect, kind of obvious. If somebody has an Apple phone, they're going more and more to using their own local business kind of thing for searching local things. So Apple Business Connect, you want to be on there. Bing Places, that's Microsoft Bing. They also kind of tied in with OpenAI and ChatGPT. ChatGPT asks Bing for things as a source. And then Bing uses Facebook business page reviews for your reviews on Bing. So just kind of think about if someone asks any AI, who say it's some 10 years in the future and it's a robot that you bought the Amazon version of or whatever, it doesn't really matter. You bought the Verizon, your robot's from Verizon. My subscription I pay is for Verizon for this AI thing that does everything for me. When you ask that being, that robot being, who's the best agent near us? Who should we get to sell the house? Hey, Robbie, who should we get to sell the house? That robot is not just going to go to Google. It's going to go to it's going to go to Bing Places and Facebook business page and Zillow profiles and realtor.com, and how many houses have they sold and what are their pictures they on their Facebook page look like and the videos that they do their marketing. And it's going to do all that stuff in like half a millisecond. And they'd be like, Derek's the one you want for these reasons. It seems like he sells a lot in that area. Seems like he has multiple videos. He's running ads for the things. He has a great social media presence. He's got this many reviews here and this many reviews there. So we just need to, I think, with the AI coming into the fold more and more, and with this news of Google search dropping to 90%, which doesn't seem like news, but is big news, I suppose. We need to diversify a little bit, not all eggs in the Google basket, and make sure we look good on all these other places as well. And we'll be ahead of the curve because a lot of people aren't even hip to Google business profiles yet, let alone all the other ones and being in those places as well. So Google search under 90%, diversify yourself. And then into the topics I have, which aren't a ton, but that's all right because if we end early, that's kind of good. But so I changed brokerages a little while ago. I've been putting off changing my business profile, the brokerage name in my business profile. Um, so I finally did it. I was all nervous about it. It's fine. Nothing happened. So I'm good to go there, except so I like to use a vertical line on the Google Business profile for a separator. So my new Google Business profile name is Derek Bixler, comma realtor, and then space for or vertical line space as a separator, and then Coldwell Banker Realty. So I had to change it from EXP, and I deleted the Carlisle and I had some keywords, local keyword stuffing in there, which I didn't really want to get rid of, and I debated getting rid of, but for whatever reason, I ended up not putting it in there this time when I changed it. But anyway, I use a vertical line as my separator because it's prettier than a dash. I hate the dashes. But then I went to change my Google Business profile name, which is Derek Fixler EXP Realty. And it has to match the Google Business profile exactly. It used to be able to be close. It used to be able to, they weren't even tied together. Like you could have a local services ads and not even have a Google Business profile, or you could have a local services ads not tied to your Google Business profile, or it could be tied to it and everything didn't have to be exactly matching. They were more independent of each other than sharing the reviews. But now with local services ads, they are now more tied with the Google Business profile. You must have a Google Business profile to run local services ads. Now, when I went in there to change my name, they wanted it to match exactly. And you can't have, which I already knew this, but I used to get away with it. You can't have a vertical line on local services ads. The programming doesn't allow it, or whatever. You just can't have a vertical line on local services ads. It has to be a dash instead of a vertical line if you want some kind of separator. So I couldn't change my name because my Google Business profile wouldn't exactly match. So then I didn't change anything because I just changed my name, and changing your name too much is not a good thing to do, especially now or in the last few months and since the end of last year. I don't like messing around too much with the name or the location. Location, you're not really messing around ever, but sometimes the name, people kind of like, I want to change that little thing or that little, or change it a lot. You can get away with a little sometimes, but they're watching it more closely these days. So even changing the vertical line to a dash, I don't even want to do that because I'm nervous that'll get me unverified or suspended. And I'm still waiting for, that's why I was waiting to change it. But then I was like, I got to change this because it's non-compliant. I'm sitting out there non-compliant. I was waiting for my physical license to get to the mailed out to our office so I can get my physical license so I can be prepared if I have to re-verify or deal with the suspension, then I will have everything ready to go. So I was waiting, but it's taken too long, so I changed it. And now the change went all right, but now I have to change the vertical line to a dash, and now I'm all nervous about that. So I turned off my local services ads, which I hate doing right now because this is right around when it will start picking up. Like last year, I think February through like June were the most, February through May were the most, and then kind of fall, December they tapered off. Still a couple here and there, but so I hate in the beginning of the year and going into the new season, new year and stuff. I hate turning that off, but I turned it off because I got to wait. I'm going to wait a little while till I get a review or two, make a couple posts. I might even just make it and even 30 days before I change that vertical line to a dash, which seems like a ridiculous thing, but it'll also be ridiculous to get suspended or unverified for changing that. So I don't know. That's about all I can do is just make sure Google trusts me, let the change sit a little bit, and then hopefully when I make that tiny little change, the computer sees it as a tiny little change and doesn't just say, nope, too many changes to the name and you're suspended, which is what I feel like it's going to
Hey,
do
Derek.
without
Derek.
really looking into
Derek,
it.
I
Go ahead.
love what you just said about the vertical line. It's cooler than a comma. I'm not, I just walked in the door. I haven't opened, but I don't remember what I have, but if I like that. Did I hear you say that if we change our comma or dash to a vertical line, Google will cut us off or suspend us. Did I hear you say that?
Yeah, it's possible. Typically, in the past, you could change your name not willy-nilly, but not have to worry about it too much if you needed to change it here or there. But now, like since the end of last year, last few months, they're really scrutinizing and watching changes, and the name and the location being the two biggest ones.
Wait, so we're talking about
So yeah,
a
even
line,
changing a
not
dash or something,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't I
That's it.
don't know if that I don't know how the algorithm works. I don't know that it reads it. I think it reads what it actually is, but there might also be a thing in the algorithm that just says if you change the name more than this many times over this period of time, you just automatically get suspended or unverified. So that's why I'm nervous about it, especially if, well, this one's my own, so I'm a little less nervous about it. And that's still very nervous because I make money off of that, but less like clients. I'm very. So I don't. If you don't have to change a dash or something in the name, if you don't have to, it's just for looks. I probably wouldn't. If and until you were doing something else, like if you changed brokerages and had to change it or something. But yeah, I probably would not change it if you didn't have to. I'm forced that I'm going to have to because I got to get my local services ads running and it has to match perfectly. So I'm going to lose my pretty vertical line in favor of the ugly dash, but it is what it is, I guess. Does that make sense? Don't do it.
Hey Derek, it's Denise in Greenville, South Carolina. I just
Hello.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to remind you that my South Carolina Google account, when I had gotten unverified or suspended or whatever, and what prompted it was the change of the brokerage, so change of the name, and change of address of location. And Derek and I worked on this, I think, like 3 months for me to get back and verify. But I do remember during that process when you were making changes, they came back with feedback or just telling us whatever. One of the things that it would not accept was that vertical line, and that was something to take out. So I didn't have it in my Connecticut one. In my Connecticut Google page, I have a hyphen, like a dash, and that still exists there because nothing would have ever been changed there since it was originally created. But the South Carolina page, they did not like that vertical line, and that was an issue. So we had to remove that. So just wanted to remind you of that too. Unfortunately, I love the way it looks too, but they wouldn't let us keep it there. So just a little try.
Denise, that is so interesting. That is super interesting. Just a little punctuation would throw Google off. That is so interesting.
Yeah, it's probably in the back end, in computer language, the dash, like it can read it, but the vertical line is some other thing kind of on the back end, which you can see sometimes. Like you see it every once in a while. Like I feel like it does it when you put a description in the multi-list and use a and symbol, and then it goes over to Zillow and you read it on Zillow, and the and symbol has turned into like a percent ABX534% sign, or has turned into some other like thing or something. So it probably has to do with, it's just how the computer reads crap, and that's how we got to do it. And Google doesn't matter to them. Deal with it, businesses. Any other questions, issues, anything?
Yes, I do. Derek, would you
Nope.
be so kind to tell us, as many of us here don't really know that much about your background, just a brief, how long you've been doing it, what have you done, what are the areas of expertise, so we will know how to best write a review for you. Words you want to have included, things of that. We touched on it, but you didn't really go in depth. Could you do that?
Sure. Yeah, background. Well, what to include in the reviews? I would say Carlisle, and you can might have to Carlisley or whatever, but yes, spell it correctly, hopefully. Carlisle, the place that I want to resonate with and rank in and everything, and selling, probably Carlisle and selling, but also relocating, good referral partner if you just, yeah, any of that kind of stuff. The word selling, I think sell and selling, I think that's one of my top keywords maybe already. So that would be a good one to be mentioned possibly. And then the place I said, but um, yeah, that's probably good. And then a couple sentences, 2 sentences maybe. Doesn't have to be something crazy. And then I will respond if I get it and reciprocate, like I said. And then my background, since 2006, so 18-ish years. I started because one of my best friends moved back from Philly to work for his dad, who had a commercial real estate firm. Really, it was just him and his dad and the office lady. And then I was in a transition looking for a job, and he had just come back, and he's like, dude, you should, it was booming at that time. And his dad needed an assistant. So I started as his dad's assistant. He's like one of the best commercial dudes around here. Great guy to learn from because he's super, super by the book, even to his own detriment. Very very stand up guy, super, like all the paperwork's perfectly done, and like it was a good person to learn from to do everything correctly, and as a mentor. So worked for him during the boom for I guess 5-ish years, all commercial, no residential. It was like a true commercial firm where we looked down on the residential people, not really, but we did not like when a residential person would call and want to show a listing or is trying to work a tenant or a commercial lease tenant or something. We did, because you got to kind of like walk them through the deal. They're just trying to get the paycheck, really don't know what they're doing. So anyway, all commercial, anything from any executive office suite up to portfolios with Brandywine. Brandywine's a REIT out of Philly. First Industrial, Prologis, some other warehouse and logistics REITs, some other office REITs, some local investors, big multifamily portfolios. So I got exposed to a lot of big stuff by being somebody's assistant, and by being his assistant, meaning I did everything, and then he was the rainmaker. He showed up for the meetings late every time, but fine. It was what it was, and it was a great way to learn, and I learned a lot, a lot, a lot. Then everything crashed. He couldn't afford to pay me like I had a great deal to get into real estate. There was a salary, I got benefits, I got a car allowance, phone allowance, plus bonuses like of the commissions share and everything. So it was a fantastic way to get in it. Once the boom went and the crash happened, which was a couple years after, kind of trailing when residential commercial trails a little bit, at least around here. That crashed. Couldn't afford the deal that we had worked out anymore. Could have stayed there just as a commercial agent, on my own and everything. But I didn't like I don't like the suits. I'm not, if anybody knows me, I'm not the suit and tie kind of person. So I actually stopped real estate and looked for a real job, quote unquote, for about 6 months, and couldn't get anything because I don't have a college degree. I did go to college, but I didn't finish. Wasn't I'm not a school person at all. Should have never gone. Probably should have been in the military. Um, but anyway, looked for a job, didn't work. So went back to real estate, went to a firm that did both. Around here, it's the best firm that does both, commercial and residential. So figured I already know commercial, plus I can, sell some houses too, maybe. And then I just gravitated towards selling residential because the marketing is a little bit easy, not easier at all. We all know it's not easy. That's the wrong term to use for sure. But I can kind of rock climb and wear a shirt that says realtor and kind of get business that way. I can play basketball. I can kind of, everybody needs a house, rather than the marketing and the networking and things for commercial stuff is slightly more stuffy, less stuffy these days. You still, even in the commercial world, even with those hundreds of millions of dollar deals, well, they're the commercial dude uniform. It's a fleece vest, some kind of like golf collared shirt, usually like a polo shirt or something underneath, and then typical kind of tight, whatever is in style, probably not quite skinny jeans, but pants, but they all kind of look the same when they show up. But And it is a little bit more stuffy and dealing with REITs and things. It's very formal, and so gravitated towards selling houses, and then been doing that since then. So 18. So I've been selling houses longer than commercial. Although I still do commercial, like I'm selling a laundromat right now with 4 units, 4 residentials plus a laundromat, and I still do commercial. I just don't really go after it. Most of my marketing is centered around houses and those kinds of things. But so that's and marketing's always been my thing. When I started with that guy assistant, they still use my marketing. They still copy my marketing. I see like some that up until like a few years ago, I would see like I did something with my signs, and then that they did the same exact thing. You can kind of tell when people are watching you or mimic you, which whatever, that's fine. But marketing's always been my thing. People, how did you do this? How did you do that? So in 2018 is when I formally created my LLC for doing marketing for the marketing agency or whatever you want to call it. So since 2006, so then tried to transition to doing marketing over real estate. Um, my income went down dramatically because it didn't grow as fast as I wanted to. That contributed to my divorce. During the divorce, I went back to doing primarily real estate because that's where the money was and I needed to make money. And then 2 years and a half, 2 years ago, I guess, I started doing marketing again. Felt I was in a place where I can't take my eye off the ball like I did with real estate the first time. Like I thought I've been doing this for 12 years or whatever, and I stopped marketing, I'll still get business. It like fell off a cliff. Everybody thought I stopped doing it, so obviously that was dumb. But so a couple years ago, now I started doing the marketing again. So I have done this before and whatever. And this is more dialed in. I used to be like any kind of marketing, your full funnel, everything, your email setup, your Facebook pages, your ads for this, these ads, all your marketing plan, all the stuff, which was a dumb way to go about it. That's maybe where you end up as an agency, but it's better to niche down, I believe. So it's better being niched down. Plus, I can be more of an expert. Like, I don't know many people, if anybody, that knows more about Google business profiles for real estate agents and agencies specifically. Because I'm in them every day. I am one. I live and eat and breathe it. So I kind of made that decision to be the person for a certain thing and then branch out more beyond there. That's probably enough about me. Thanks for
That was
asking, though.
that was great, Derek. It was really nice to get to know you better, and thanks for taking the time to share that. Thank you.
Yeah, you get to know the professional me a little bit. The personal me, that's a whole different episode, and things would be omitted. Yeah, so I'd have to get out my joke book and just read out all the
Well, a
things.
couple of
Yeah,
things.
that would be a different thing.
A couple of things you didn't touch on, and for those who don't know you, he's also like an amazing dad, right? To three beautiful children, and now a working in first responder uh, uh, position. I'm not knowing how to exactly define that. EMT work, firefighting. So we thank you, Derek, for all that you do. To the community, to your community, for your children, and mostly, and then of course for all of us. So appreciate you. Thanks, Derek.
Thank you. Yes, how could I forget those kiddos? The Pretty much everything in my world. Yes, they're awesome. And like I said, I left all the personal stuff out, but yes, they would be the center of it, and then the woods would be the second center of my personal life, and then all kinds of other stuff along the way leading up to now. Yes, thank you. Uh, there was something else I was going to say. I forget. Maybe I'll think of it. All right. So that all came from changing Google Business Profile name that I'm nervous about. So we'll see. 30 days, and I'll report here on how that goes when I do that and everything. Oh, the first responder thing. That's what you said that I was going to say something. Fire and rescue, I guess. Firefighter is what everybody says, but it's fire and rescue. Usually more of the rescue than the fire, typically. But yes, fire and rescue. And I'm just at the beginning of the journey. I'm a volunteer. I'm not trying to do it as a job or anything. My March is going to be filled up like a mother. I'm kind of, you know how you agree to things so that you'll do them. And then when they get closer, you're like, man, that's a lot. This is one of those things. It's three courses: Mod A, Mod B, Mod C, which you have to do to get your firefighter one, which is the first step in being able to go into burning structures and do certain things. So I'm doing all three of those, plus a hazmat, plus CPR, pretty much like all in March in evenings. So that's gonna be tough on times when I have my kids, and that's gonna be a long month. But looking forward to having it, and then I can kind of stop. Unless you can always proceed and do more. You could get your forest firefighting certificate. There are a million different certifications and things you could do beyond that, but that's my first goal, and then I'll probably hang tight and relax a little bit, get some experience, and then do more. So yeah, thanks for asking about that. That is a fun new adventure, and it's free. Um, I was kind of that's one thing that I wanted to do one volunteer thing rather than all scattered. Do this, do that, do this, do that. I can kind of just do one thing and devote my life to that kind of one thing. Plus, it's free. Like they send you to these classes, they pay for them. Some people volunteer in volunteer states, get all their stuff paid for. And again, I'm not doing it. But then once you have your firefighter one, you could move to another state or somewhere else and actually get a paying job or something, or get a paying job. We have paid people here too. Not everybody is volunteers, but anyhow, yes, that's fun. But March is going to be, I'm going to be sick of it in March probably. Next thing I have on my list here is my home value algorithm. I just made a note of it because they were talking about it in the morning room, in Michelle's room this morning, how people come up with values. So I thought maybe I would touch on the way I come up with values, and maybe you can take a little bit from it or leave it or whatever. So part of it is I pull comps and run comps like everybody else. So that part you already kind of know. But then I also pull all the automated estimates. So you have realtor.com, RPR.
Hey, Derek. Just a
Yeah.
second, and I apologize for rudely interrupting. Before you go into that, and I'm so happy that you're going to, back to your profile thing. So I clicked the link below, and it had me ready to write the review from my personal, just Cindy Ariona, not the business page. Which would you prefer, from a personal or from my business page?
One in the, you can only leave it as your personal. So
Oh,
giving
didn't
reviews,
know.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All
That
right.
would be
Well,
your
that's,
local guiding, or that's what they call it. But
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Just trying to get out of the doghouse here. Okay. Back to these
How,
valuations.
however, though, one note, if you use the same email that owns the Google Business profile. So if it's Cindy at Gmail or whatever it is,
Yeah.
Cindy at Gmail owns the Google Business profile. If you leave reviews and have like a good standing as a Gmail address, as a local guide, it can
Be most
help a
valuable.
little bit if you have issues with the Google Business profile or whatever. So related a little bit, but essentially two separate things
Okay.
happening.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thanks, Derek.
Yep. So I was pulling up realtor.com. So you got the home valuation. I pull up realtor.com. I pull up Zillow, RPR, Redfin, homes.com. That's five. And then on realtor.com, if you scroll down, so they have their estimate at the top. One I pulled up here is 312, 102. But if I scroll down, they've got three others down here: Quantarium, Collateral Analytics, and Core Logic. And I'm noticing recently that quantarium number is always the same. It wasn't for a long time, but now it's the same exact number as realtor.com's, the big number at the top. So I believe realtor.com is using quantarium, and a lot of these things use, like others use core logic and collateral analytics, and there might be other analytics companies out there that these companies use sometimes. But anyway, if you scroll down on realtor.com, these are the ones that people miss a lot of times. All those other ones I named, realtor.com, RPR, you all know about those. But Quantarium, collateral analytics, and CoreLogic. And again, if Quantarium is just the same as realtor.com, I'll just leave it blank or not included or whatever. So you'll have 7 or 8 different estimates. They will range, like collateral analytics has it at 325, CoreLogic has it at 295, so a 30 grand difference there for that house. And then 312, like I said, for Quantarium, and then Homes.com and Zillow and all those are going to have their own values. So I pull all 7 or 8 of those, and then I have a one, well, it's not one page, it's probably 3 pages that has a summary of my comps, and I usually pull 3-ish sets of comps, sold comps within so much time, pendings, for sales, maybe something else if I'm seeing something else happening or whatever. So I'll have a summary of the sold comps and then my prices based on those comps. Set 1, this is what I would say the price is. Set 2, this is what I would say the price is. Set 3, price, and then I might average those together and show that number. And then on the next page, I have all the automated estimates, and then I have, so it shows not only that they can differ. You can't trust these automated estimates. Look how different they are. 50 grand difference, 30 grand difference. You can't just judge those. But all those mixed together, probably going to be pretty good. And I'm not just going by that anyway. So I show each one individually, but then also show an average of all those. So then I have averages of my comps and what I can come up with my algorithm of what I think it is based on all my sets of comps, maybe putting more weight on certain comps than others. Sometimes there's one that like, that's the exact house. I see all these other comps are pulling it up or down or something, but it's the exact house as that. So that's really the price. But pull my price from the comps, get my price from the algorithms, and then you could even average those two together, all the computer brains together, plus all my brains together, averages out to this price. And then, and it's always pretty close. At least for me, it's usually pretty close. And in fact, my comps set, my number from my comps is usually very, very close to the average of all the estimates together. So there is some subjectivity. You can't just do it blindly and trust the numbers that come out of it. But I find that it's a great set. It definitely, when you start going over it with them or show it to them, they always say, well, you clearly put a lot of thought into this. I thought you just like looked it up on Zillow and told me asking, like, they get it, and they don't even need to hear the rest of it. They're just like, okay, I get it. You put tons of work into this. What should we list it at? So that's kind of how that is how I come up with numbers. And then there's discussion if they feel it should be something else, and I agree that okay, we can try it at that for a while or something. Things could change, but that's what I do. Pull comps in at least 2 to 3, maybe more separate sets of my own comps and numbers, and then all 7 or 8. It looks like it's going to be 7 now because this Quantarium seems to be the exact one that Realtor.com uses as theirs. So I think that's 7 automated estimates, and then that's how I come up with my price. Or I usually put a range at the bottom. On the back end, I've got a specific price probably in mind I'd like to do, but I do try to do a range unless there's some other reason not to. Anybody else do something similar or any questions about that or input or like it, don't like it, anything?
Well, I can jump in, but I'd like to yield the mic if there's someone else who'd like to share. Anybody else have a comment on that?
And feel free to steal it too if you don't
Okay.
have your own or want to steal it. What's up, Cindy?
Well, I can share what I do, Derek. I love that, and I'm going to do a few more. I'm going to add some. I always pull Zillow because I know that the client has, or I certainly assume the client has. I don't know, but I assume that they do. And boy, am I glad that I do that. What is key is printing that because the moment it's listed, it'll change and that number will be gone and you won't be able to see it again. And then it'll be too late when what happened to me, because I did print it and I use that on my now listing appointments, which is Zillow gave the property a value of $801,000. Uh-huh. Yep. I listed at 950, had multiple offers, and closed just under $1 million. That's $200,000 more than what Zillow gave it. And that is a powerful piece to take with me into my listing appointments. So there's that. Then a horse property that I sold, Zillow had it listed for valued at 795. We came in, I had 10 offers, and we sold that for 950. That was 150 over. So the other thing I do is, well, anyway, back to you with the different things that we're doing. But that alone right there was has been very, very a strong value point in my listing presentations.
Yeah, so you're taking specific past sales where this is what Zillow said and this is what I sold it as. That's great. I love
Yep,
that. That's definitely proof.
I was ready to.
Because you can say it all day long about their house, but if you have actual closed proof,
Yeah. I
yeah,
was ready to
totally.
frame that one. I should have it plastic laminated, those two. And there's been others, but I don't need to go down the line. Those were the two big ones that were real wowzer. And to that, real quick, I will add um, another horse property that I sold. Well, oh my gosh, it was way higher than what it should be. What's going on? Tax data. I was checking all the tax. I was trying to dial. Not Zillow. I'm not talking Zillow now. Now I'm talking tax data and sold prices. So I started calling, which I always do, the recent sales. I call the list agent, the buy agent, both sides. I call them and I politely interview. It's more like an interrogation of everything I can gather from those properties, because that how yeah, that is key. That's our biggest ammunition. And what I found out, there were 6 cells that I was using, comparable properties, and three of them, the owners had had appraisals. And the tax assessor up in Weber County was so off his rocker, okay, because they were all paying way more than what they needed. If they were my clients, I would have peeled those. There's another thing that we do when it's tax time. When they get their property tax statement, it's the first week of August. And if you want to appeal those property taxes, you got to do that by deadline of September 15th. In any event, tax assessors can be off just because, and of course they're usually off the opposite direction, right? And that makes everybody happy because they don't want to pay more taxes than they need to. This was the reverse situation. But back to you, Derek.
Yes, agreed. Nobody wants to pay more, and yes, they tend to, I feel like, purposefully kind of shoot a little bit low typically, which is, yeah, not so they don't have to deal with appeals every day and people complaining about values and things. So, yes, it's not very often you find one that's high or way high or something, but yeah, appeal it if you
Yeah, we
want.
were wondering what that tax assessor up in Weber County was smoking. I was like, dude, really, he was so off. Oh, those poor people.
And the more complicated the properties, horse properties or commercial properties, or the more complicated, the harder it probably is to value by just driving past, taking a picture from the street. And they pretty much just, is the thing still there? Yep, it's still there. All right, we'll trust what's on the record. This is what it's valued at. Done, unless somebody complains. Yeah, totally. We got 5 minutes left. That's enough. I'll do my last thing here real quick, and maybe I'll go into it more. I will go into it more later, but I'm trying a new YouTube ads. So YouTube ads aren't new or anything, but I'm going to do a video sequence. You can now, and you used to be able to do it kind of, but now they've made it a lot easier. It's actually one of the like base selections or objectives you can kind of pick in there, that you can have a video sequence that will show video ads to people in sequence. So I'm thinking three videos, a 3 video sequence that will take, and I'll have to create landing pages to go with these videos. I'm going to try to keep them 30 seconds because when I watch Hulu or anytime I watch, not Hulu because I paid for that, but any other platform where I might see commercials, trying to think of one. I watch the Samsung TV sometimes in the background, actually, or on other stuff. I feel like Prime, yeah, Prime shows commercials now. Even if you have Prime, you have to pay even more to get like no commercials. There's commercials on some stuff. Anyhow, I have noticed that the commercials on TV type apps and platforms are typically 30 seconds, and they're usually 30 seconds or a minute or so, but 30 seconds is what it seemed to be the most. So 30 seconds is what I'm shooting for each of these videos. Number one is going to be, and these scripts are not hard in stone yet, I need to time them, and I want to get certain parts of the script within the first 5 seconds because that's kind of the part they have to see before they click skip this ad, and it's the part that they see that you don't pay for with YouTube ads. So number one ad is, I can advertise your home to buyers in Carlisle just like this. And I'm going to be standing under the Carlisle Theater, big Carlisle sign right there. And hopefully that part is under 5 seconds. I can advertise your home to buyers in Carlisle just like this. The same way I targeted you with this ad, we can target the exact right buyers for your Carlisle area home. Click to learn how. And then I'll have a landing page that they would click to. Obviously, they would talk about how, with the call to action and being schedule a call or call me right now or whatever. Then the next ad would be, we not only target the right buyers on YouTube, so that would hopefully be the first 5 seconds. Possibly we not only target the right buyers on YouTube, we also put your property on every platform in multiple ways to ensure you get the right eyeballs on your property. Maybe the most and the right eyeballs on your property. Click to see everywhere we put your property. So again, a call to action probably takes them hopefully to the same landing page. I don't want to create multiple landing pages if possible. And then the third video, and if I can follow you around like this, imagine what I can do to put your home in front of the right buyers. Click to have a free chat about how we can market your property. And then again, probably the same landing page, possibly a slightly different. I can't duplicate pages, so if I wanted to customize it slightly for each video, I could, I suppose, but the simpler and less work, the better, I think. Already 3 videos is complicating a little bit. Obviously, I have to complicate it. I went in there to do a single video ad for myself. I was just that number one, like Clint has done it, others have done it. It's really easy. Like the video for it is super easy, which is the good part because typically the creative itself, the video you're going to use for the ad is the hang up. So that's why I'm starting with this. That's why others have done this. You could also run ads for listings. I think that's a good idea. I'm going to start doing that as standard protocol. I already do it on Meta and Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff, but I'm going to start running the video tours on YouTube as well, I think, as a standard thing. But that's my 3 YouTubes, and we got a minute to spare. So I'm going to try some YouTube video ads like others have been. I'm going to do a sequence of 3 videos, follow them around, and I assume it will just loop around and repeat then, and that's what I would want it to do, to then just loop around to the number one again. I can advertise your home to buyers in Carlisle, just like this. Hopefully by then they're like, man, this guy actually can do it. This is crazy. Click. Tell me more. Any feedback, questions? Anybody else running any YouTube ads in here? I will, of course, report back.
Okay, that's amazing. And I want to go to the theater. I love that. I love the standing under the theater one. That's brilliant. Thank you.
I figure if you're trying to the resonation and the caption, if they live in Carlisle, like everybody knows that's it's the landmark of the town. So just seeing that pop in, they're gonna be like, oh, what's this? This is about where I live, and then yeah, I think it'll work pretty well. And it's so easy to shoot and 30 seconds long. I could do one right now for winter and be in a coat and it resonate with like, whoa, that's my town right now. That's the movie that's playing right now. And then yeah, I think it's great. So we'll see how it works out. But I will definitely report back, and it will. I'll be. I'll do it for others if it works, and once I know how to set it all up and I'm savvy at that and everything. So 10 o'clock, perfect. I got a meeting at 10:15, a maintenance and audit refresher with with a current client. We're not calling them past clients; these are clients for life, right? So I have a audit and refresher with somebody at 10:15. So we will close it out. Thanks, Cindy, for all your interaction as usual. You get a gold star. There's no way there are sound effects somewhere. You get a ding, ding. I need some kind of board. I gave up my board. I do have a board of sounds, and it was too complicated, and it never works right. So I gave up on that. So thanks for everybody for being here, and we'll be back here next week. And be sure to give some love to your fellow realtors. Go to their Google business profiles, like some of their photos, like some of their reviews, click on their website, click the directions button, maybe give them a review, but just show them some love on there so Google knows that people like their Google business profile. And with that, I will bid you all adieu. Have a good one.